There's a storm inside you, a vision, a dream, a fire that refuses to die. But listen closely. If you keep telling the world what you're going to do, that fire might flicker out before it ever gets a chance to burn bright. We live in a world obsessed with validation, likes, shares, claps, applause, but here's the harsh truth. The more people you tell, the less power your vision holds, not because your dream is weak, but because people are. People doubt, people envy, people sabotage, and when you expose your plans to the wrong crowd, you're feeding your purpose to wolves dressed like friends. I'm not saying you shouldn't dream big, I'm saying protect your dream like it's your life, because sometimes it is. Have you ever noticed how the most successful people don't always talk about what they're working on? That's not a coincidence. It's strategy, it's discipline, it's wisdom. The strongest moves are made in silence. The loudest achievements, they're born in the quiet hours, in the grind when no one's watching, in the sacrifice nobody applauds. Think about a seed. When you plant it, you don't scream at the world, "Hey, I just buried a seed." No. You water it, you nurture it, you protect it from storms, from insects, from destruction. You let it grow in silence. Then, when the time is right, it bursts from the ground, tall and undeniable. That's your dream. That's your vision. There's an African proverb, the lion doesn't need to tell you it's a lion. Its presence, its power, its roar when it chooses to use it. That's all the proof you need. But too many of us waste energy telling the world what we're going to do instead of just doing it. We talk, we post, we announce, and every time we do, we release a bit of that power into the wind. Power that should have been invested into the work, into the hustle, into the mission. So this is your wake-up call. Move in silence. Let your work speak. Let your results scream. Stop wasting time explaining your vision to people who don't have the capacity to understand it. You weren't put on this earth to convince them. You were put here to build, to fight, to rise. This speech, this fire, is for those who are ready to shut the noise out and step into the arena alone. For those who know that the greatest glory comes not from telling the world your plans, but from showing them your results. Let's begin. Let me say something real. Not everyone who smiles at you wants you to succeed. Some people clap for your dreams on the surface, but deep down they're hoping you crash. And the most dangerous thing? You won't even see it coming. When you share your plans with the wrong people, you give them power. Power to discourage you, delay you, and in some cases, destroy you. It doesn't always come with direct hate. Sometimes it comes in the form of subtle doubt. Are you sure you can do that? It doesn't sound realistic. I wouldn't do it that way if I were you. That seed of doubt, it grows, and once it does, it chokes your confidence from the inside out. There's a true story that hits hard. Before J.K. Rowling became a household name, she was rejected by 12 publishers. But imagine if she had listened to someone close who told her, "You're wasting your time with this wizard stuff." She kept her head down, believed in her story, and proved the world wrong. She didn't need applause, she needed focus. The sad truth is, people close to you are often the first ones to doubt you. Not because they're evil, but because your ambition shines a light on their lack of it. Your growth reminds them of what they're not doing, and that discomfort, it can turn into resistance. You've got to learn to protect your energy. If someone isn't pouring belief into your dream, they don't deserve access to it. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you're grinding late at night, why you're skipping parties, why you're working in silence. Your results will be the explanation. Look at the greats. Think about entrepreneurs, athletes, artists. The ones who really shook the world, they weren't announcing their every step on social media. They were working while everyone else was watching. And when they showed up strong, not with words, but with undeniable success. So ask yourself, why do you feel the need to tell everyone? Is it for validation? Is it because you're seeking support? Let me tell you something. Real support starts from within. If you're looking outward before you've built that inward belief, you're already compromising your mission. Move like a shadow, work like a storm brewing in the distance, and when your time comes, shake the ground so loud that the same people who doubted you are left speechless, because the truth is, You don't need everyone to believe in you. You need to believe in yourself so fiercely that nothing else matters. Don't give them a preview. Don't give them a warning. Just give them the aftermath. Let's move to the next truth. Let me tell you something that most people won't admit. Getting praise too early can be the silent killer of your grind. It feels good in the moment. Someone says, "That's a great idea," or "Wow, can't wait to see it happen," but that little high you get. That's the danger, because your brain starts rewarding you for something you haven't even done yet. Science backs this up. A study by Peter Gollwitzer at NYU found that when people announce their goals and receive praise, their motivation actually drops. Why? Because their brain thinks the goal is already achieved. You trick yourself into believing you've accomplished something when all you did was talk about it. Imagine this. You tell your friends, "I'm gonna start a business." They all hype you up. Fire emojis, claps, you're a boss. But what really happened? You got the dopamine, you got the hit, and now the urgency is gone, the hunger is less. Why grind when you've already gotten the reward? You don't need a standing ovation for an idea. You need one for execution. Look at fighters. Do they celebrate before the match starts? No, they train in silence. They sweat in dark gyms. They bleed behind closed doors. And when the lights hit, they walk into that ring not needing applause, but earning it. That's the difference. Let me give you a real-world example. There was a young man who always talked about launching a fitness brand. He created logos, posted teasers, told everyone about his big vision. People were excited. The comments rolled in, but the business, it never launched. You know why? He got addicted to the attention. Not the action. He was building a fan base without building the foundation. And guess what? That dream died in the graveyard of good intentions. Janny, you've got to get serious. If your goal is real, protect it. Keep it close. Feed it with work, not words. Praise is cheap. Results are priceless. You need to be so in love with the process that you don't care if no one sees it yet. Let them wonder, let them doubt. Let them assume nothing's happening. That's your edge. While they're watching, you're building. While they're clapping, you're climbing. Silence creates focus. Praise creates comfort, and comfort kills hunger. You're not here to be hyped. You're here to be legendary, and legends don't need permission. They don't need validation. They show up, they shut up, and they deliver. So stop announcing the mission. Start attacking it. Let your silence be the drumbeat of your discipline, and when it's done, when it's real, let the results make the noise. Life doesn't move in straight lines. It swerves, it flips. It turns you upside down. And if you're brave enough to chase a big dream, you better believe your plans are going to change. But here's the trap. When you announce your plan too early, when you shout it from the rooftops, you trap yourself in that version of the dream. You lock yourself into something that might not fit anymore. You know what the most dangerous prison is. The prison of public expectation. You said you were gonna do this. So now you feel like you can't pivot to that without people saying, "Wait, didn't you say you were going to?" Yeah, you did, but now you've grown, you've learned, you've seen more. You're not the same person, and that's okay. You need the freedom to evolve, to adapt, to redirect without judgment. Steve Jobs said it best, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. What you think is the plan today might just be the stepping stone to the real one tomorrow. But if you've already broadcasted the first version, now you're under pressure to perform it, even if it's no longer aligned with your growth. Think about that for a second. You could end up chasing the wrong dream just because you told people about it. Let me give you a real example. There was a guy I knew who wanted to become a motivational speaker. He told everyone, made posts, got the applause. Then he realized his real passion was writing, quiet storytelling, deep messages, but he felt stuck because he already told the world he was gonna speak. So instead of pivoting, he forced himself down a path that drained him until he burned out. Don't be that person. You owe no one an explanation for evolving. Growth is not betrayal, it's maturity. Look at successful companies. Apple started as a computer company, now they're a tech empire. Netflix mailed DVD, now they stream worldwide. You think they asked for permission to pivot? No, they moved in silence. They let the results justify the shift. When you keep your plans private, you give yourself permission to adjust, to fall, to rethink, and to rise again. Without the eyes, the noise, and the opinions, your mission isn't to impress people with a perfect plan. Your mission is to build something real, and that journey is messy, it's unpredictable. It's full of edits and reroutes. That's the beauty of it. So stop announcing the roadmap before you've even started the engine. Get in the car, drive, learn, adapt, and if the GPS says recalculating, smile, because that's part of the path. Keep the plan sacred. Let it breathe. Let it shift. Because when it's finally revealed, it won't be the version you once told people about. It'll be the version that changed your life. This one's gonna sting, but it needs to be said. Not everyone is listening to support you. Some are listening to study you, and some are listening to steal from you. Your ideas are currency. Your vision is value. And when you talk too much, when you share too early, you open the vault wide open for everyone to take a piece. And trust me, Janny, not everyone is noble. Not everyone has honor. Some people are watching your every word just to beat you to your own finish line. You ever hear the phrase, success leaves clues? Well, so does ambition, and when you talk about your plans too loud, you leave clues that opportunists can follow. They don't need to build the vision, they just need to hear enough of yours to duplicate it, faster, louder, and sometimes better resourced. Look at history. The story of Facebook's creation is clouded in one big claim. The Winklevoss twins said Zuckerberg took their idea. Whether you believe that or not, the lesson is clear. When you talk, someone else can walk off with your map. And once they do, your original idea no longer belongs to you alone. It becomes diluted, duplicated, and sometimes done better. Now, let me take you into a real-world, everyday example. A young woman had a dream of launching a skincare line using rare, natural ingredients from her homeland. She told a few people. One of them took the idea, added money, created branding, and launched the same thing. Months before she could, her heart broke, her energy collapsed. She didn't just lose her idea, she lost her identity for a while. All because she trusted too early. Don't make that mistake. You don't need to tell people what you're building. You need to show them once it's built. Let your silence protect your blueprint. Let your results be the only reveal they get. Think like an architect. Before the building stands tall, the drawings stay hidden. The foundation is laid in quiet. The walls go up when no one's looking, and by the time people see it, it's already too late to copy it. It's done, sealed, yours. If you're still planning, still building, still evolving, protect it. Share it with only those who are in the trenches with you, the ones who bleed for your vision. Everyone else, they get the press release, not the process. It's not about being paranoid, it's about being prepared, because this world moves fast, and the person who hears your idea today could launch it tomorrow. If you give them the recipe, so guard your mission like it's sacred. Because it is. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. And sure as hell not in your kitchen while you're cooking. Build in silence, launch in power, own your vision. Before someone else does, there's a strength you can't buy. Can't borrow, can't fake. It's the kind of strength that's built in silence, away from the noise, far from the crowd. It's the strength that comes when no one's watching, when it's just you, your purpose, and the pain. Too many people confuse attention with validation. They think posting their goals gives them power. They think talking about the struggle is the same as walking through it. But real growth, real power, it comes when you choose to keep your head down and do the work. Alone. Silence is where the mental muscle is built, not in likes, not in comments, not in claps, in solitude, in discipline, in the grind no one sees. Think about every elite athlete. The games are loud, but the preparation, dead quiet, the early morning runs, the late night reps, the private battles with doubt, fatigue, and fear, no audience, no applause. Just heart, just hunger, just discipline, that's where champions are carved. I remember reading about David Goggins. That man turned pain into power, but he didn't become unstoppable by talking. He became it by suffering in silence. running for hours with broken feet, training in darkness. Why? Because he knew that inner strength isn't something people give you. It's something you build when there's no one to cheer you on. You want to be unshakable? Then stop broadcasting your moves, let silence mold you, let struggle shape you. When you sit with yourself, when you work in silence, you face every insecurity, every weakness, and if you stay in that space long enough, you come out stronger than anyone who's been hiding behind noise. Here's another truth. Silence protects your energy. When you keep your plans to yourself, you're not wasting time explaining, defending, or proving anything. That energy, it gets redirected into execution, into preparation, into becoming so solid that when the moment comes, you don't have to say a word. Your presence speaks for itself. You ever walk into a room and feel someone's energy without them even opening their mouth? That's the power of silent strength. It's not loud, it's not desperate, it's just there, unshakable, undeniable, and Janny, in this world, the strongest one in the room isn't the loudest. It's the one who doesn't need to speak. The one who knows who they are, the one who's paid the price in silence. So if you're grinding right now and nobody's noticing, good, that's your power zone. Stay there. Let your silence sharpen you. Let your isolation elevate you, because the day will come when the world sees the finished product, and they'll wonder how you became so strong, so focused, so fierce, and you'll smile knowing the truth. You were built in the silence they never saw. Talk is cheap. Anyone can speak. Anyone can post a quote, drop a plan, or say what they're gonna do. But talk doesn't win battles. Work does. In a world obsessed with announcements, real warriors move differently. They let their actions speak so loud that their words become irrelevant. You don't need to tell the world you're building. Just build. You see, when you're busy talking, you're not moving. You're wasting fuel on noise instead of movement. That's the difference between those who want to impress and those who want to impact. One chases likes, the other chases legacy. Let me give you a visual. Imagine a lion before the hunt. It doesn't roar, it doesn't announce, it crouches, it waits, it focuses. And when the time is right, it pounces with precision, no warning, no mercy. That's how you attack your dreams, with quiet intensity and deadly focus. Let me tell you a story. A young man once said he was going to become the best barber in his city. He told everyone, made posters, posted pictures of clippers, but he didn't train, didn't master his craft. A year later, still just talking. Now contrast that with another guy who said nothing, no posts. No big talk, but every day he watched videos, practiced cuts, worked for free to perfect his game. Months later, people lined up outside his shop. Not because he talked about it, but because he delivered. That's the difference. Doers don't need declarations. Their success becomes the announcement. Think of the greats. Kobe Bryant didn't need to tweet his workouts. He just outworked the world. Beyonce once dropped a full album. No promo, no warning. Why? Because the work spoke for itself. When you've done the reps in the dark, you don't need a spotlight. You become one. Announcements are often a cry for attention, a need for validation, but you don't need validation. You need results. Let your growth be the evidence. Let your success be the roar that comes after the silent grind. You ever notice how people who constantly say, "I'm gonna do this, I'm working on that," usually never follow through? Because they're addicted to the feeling of progress, not the reality of it. That's not you. You're built different. You don't need to be seen starting. You need to be seen finishing. So ask yourself right now, are you talking more than you're doing? Or are you letting your daily discipline tell the story? Because in the end, no one remembers what you said you would do. They remember what you did. So stop announcing the dream. Start living it. Every workout, every call, every sacrifice. It all adds up. Quietly, powerfully, and when the moment comes to show the world who you are, you won't need a mic. Your results will do the talking. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Read that again. Let it sink in. Your dream, your path, your grind, your why, all of it is personal, sacred, and the more time you spend explaining yourself to people who don't get it, the less time you have to actually build it. Let's be real. Every time you tell someone your next move, you end up justifying it, defending it, watering it down so they'll understand or approve, and that energy, it's fuel that should be going into execution. You're draining your focus trying to make others comfortable with your calling. But guess what, Janny? They don't have to get it. They're not supposed to. The lion doesn't explain why it hunts. The eagle doesn't break down flight mechanics before it soars. It just does what it was born to do. And so should you. You ever try explaining your vision to someone with a small mindset, someone who's never built anything, never risked anything, never chased something bigger than a paycheck? They look at you like you're crazy. That's not your problem. That's not your job. There's a story of a guy named Armin, left his corporate job to open a small gym. Everyone thought he lost his mind. Why leave a stable job? Why take that risk? He tried explaining. Over and over, but the more he explained, the more confused and drained he became. One day he stopped. No more justifying, no more debates. He locked in, focused, and built his gym from the ground up. 3 years later, that gym became a chain, and now people who once doubted him ask him for advice. He didn't win by convincing them. He won by becoming undeniable. Every minute you spend explaining yourself is a minute you're not moving. And movement is everything. While they're debating, you could be creating. While they're questioning, you could be climbing. The people who truly matter won't need an explanation. They'll see your heart in your hustle. They'll feel your fire in your footsteps. Think about it. Have you ever seen a builder stop mid-construction just to explain to every passer-by what the building will look like? No, they stay busy, stay focused. And one day the building speaks for itself. You've got to become so obsessed with your vision that you protect it from anything that distracts, including the need to be understood. Save your energy, Janny. Save your fire. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them assume you're doing nothing. And then, boom, show up with results that shut every mouth in the room, because success doesn't need a PowerPoint. It needs proof. No more wasting time explaining to small minds what God put in your big heart. Let your grind speak. Let your peace speak. Let your results speak. And trust me, when they see what you've built, they'll stop asking questions. They'll start asking how you did it. There's something electric about silence. And then boom, the reveal. You ever notice how a surprise drop shakes the world more than a month-long promo? You know why? Because the reveal, when done right, hits like a thunderclap in a quiet sky. It doesn't ask for attention. It demands it. It doesn't beg to be noticed. It becomes the thing everyone talks about. That's why you don't need to talk about your every move. You don't need to tease your plans like a trailer, because when the product is strong, the reveal becomes a shockwave. Look at Beyonce. She dropped a full album with zero warning, no interviews, no promo. No marketing plan, just fire, just excellence, just delivery, and the world, it froze. That's the power of the reveal. Why did it hit so hard? Because no one saw it coming, because it was ready, because it was unapologetically complete. See, Janny, when you work in silence, you buy yourself time to build without noise. You free yourself from expectations, from timelines, from judgment. You build, refine, pivot, improve. And then you deliver something so solid that it can't be denied. Now let me give you a real-world story. There was a guy working on a streetwear brand. For a year, he said nothing. No social media hints. No coming soon. Just work, sketches, factories, fabric tests. One day, out of nowhere, he launched. Clean branding, killer designs, site live within 72 hours. Sold out. Everyone asked, where did this come from? His answer, I've been building. Y'all were just watching the wrong direction. That's the energy you need to carry. Not desperate, not loud, just laser, focused and ready to dominate when the time comes, because here's what most people don't get: an announcement can be ignored, but a result can't. People forget what you say. They never forget what you deliver. You don't need hype, you need heat. You don't need noise, you need nuclear impact, and you don't get that by talking. You get it by working in the shadows until your success explodes into the light. You know what else the reveal does? It protects your peace. When you're not broadcasting your every move, you don't invite doubt. You don't give haters a target. You just build. And when the work is ready, you hit them with something so real, so raw, so powerful. They're left speechless. Your silence becomes your setup becomes your strike, and your strike becomes your statement. So don't waste time crafting announcements for people who are half listening. craft masterpieces in silence. And when the world least expects it, flip the switch and light it up. Because Janny, when your results show up unannounced, they hit harder, they last longer, and they remind everyone exactly who you are, the storm they didn't see coming.